Woo! Hi, everybody. Super excited to have you all here tonight. It took me a minute to get on because my dog decided it was now that he needed water, but that's what happens, and you can hear him drinking it in the background. So I am not telling you stories out of school. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. The reason why I wanted to do a Canva kind of tutorial is because I know that a lot of you out there love to have really pretty pictures that you can use to promote your webinars, the company webinars, your products, whatever it is. And I wanted to show you what it is that I do. Now, I oftentimes go ahead and post like a generic image. Like when I make a picture, I go ahead and promote a generic image, usually inside of the team or something like that for whatever it is that we're all promoting. However, I do know that people, even though they like that, they want their own stuff too. So this will save you a little money. This will save you a little time. And the reason why I chose Canva for this demonstration, I used to be a big PicMonkey girl, actually a pro PicMonkey member. However, once I figured out Canva, there was no going back. You know what I'm saying? And thank you so much, Sarah, for showing me a couple of things about it, because I just didn't get it. And it was boggling my mind, and I didn't like the way the things looked, and I didn't like how the images came out. However, I find that if you have a PicMonkey Pro account, don't get rid of it. You need it for Photoshop. Like if you ever want to take the wrinkles out, you ever notice sometimes my thumbnails and my videos are wrinkle-free, this one's gone. You can't do that on Canva. However, what you can do is make just gorgeous graphics that are going to make it look like you either spent a bunch of money on branding or you have a lot of talent, because it doesn't take a lot of talent to figure this stuff out, and that's why I chose Canva. I'm going to give you a couple of resources I use for free images that you can use and edit and do whatever you want to, that I use every day, that are like, you know, one of the tabs that are open all the time. This way you can grab some really good photography if you're not out there taking pictures yourself. I mean, we can take pictures we want all day long, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's always the thing. You know, like when I do technology pictures, I like to take Apple technology pictures. Yet, if you looked outside at my, you know, I am an Android user and I have a Windows computer. So Apple is my dreamscape. However, I'm still a Windows girl. So I'm not going to want to take a picture of my computer. It's full of dust and fingerprints and all sorts of stuff. So I really like being able to get my hands on good stuff. So that's the reason why I use a lot of the Unsplash and PicJumbo images. And hopefully Charlie doesn't have to go to the bathroom. Sarah might have to help me with that. But let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to go ahead and go straight over to Canva. Or maybe I'll open Canva up first and we'll keep talking. How's everybody doing today? Is everybody happy? Let me see you in the chat. Make sure you can hear me talking and see me good. Sarah did my hair for tonight's webinar, so that's why I look extra sassy. I feel like I should be in the movie Boogie Nights on some roller skates or something. Woo, 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 woo. You know they had fun in that movie. She is actually helping me out. Oh, I got to unlock it. Hold on.
I just heard it right now.
Let's try a second delay. Turned out perfect. Woo-hoo! So she's helping me out with that. That's awesome. And she'll be right back in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Apple's not all that. Well, you could buy an Apple computer and never have to buy another one for 10 years. You cannot do that with a Windows. I try it. I try really hard. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And let's go. And we got the tunnel. Let's see if, yep, you're going to see Canva. Yep, Canva's in the background. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I like Canva so much. But the number one reason is the thing that always used to blow my mind creating images for YouTube, Google, is the sizes of images that you need. Now, with this, you don't have to worry about knowing nothing about that. Here's a generic social media size. This will work pretty much anywhere, 800 by 800. Presentation is basically a full-size picture, like a 8 by 10. Posters, long. Facebook cover, you'll never go wrong with this. Facebook posts, this is what looks good on Facebook. However, what I do now that I have a cell phone and I'm starting to work my Instagram, I make all my Facebook images Instagram size. This way, when I go and screenshot it, I can put it on Instagram and it looks good. It doesn't look like I'm, before I was actually taking screenshots on my computer and it was kind of funny. You've got Facebook app size, which is like basically for your advertisements if you were to do any PPC. And if you love Tumblr, they've got Tumblr graphic size, which is awesome. It's a really long image, 540 pixels wide. They also have documents. This is US letter presentation 16.9. This is the one that is up here in the top. That's the one I suggest you use if you're making a PDF. Here comes Charlie. He's back. Thanks, Sarah. A4, don't know what that means, but it's there. Desktop wallpaper, you can make an image for your own desktop. Letterhead, magazine cover, letterhead, and wet resume. And blogging and ebooks. Ebook, Kindle cover, blog title, blog graphic, album cover, infographic. These are going to come in big handy if you're an MLSP and you know that sites are coming out, or if you're an internet marketer and you already have a blog. That section right there is going to come in big handy, because Friday's Infographic Friday, and you're going to want to enjoy that because you can use that hashtag and get more traffic and all that fun stuff, and you can build your entire infographic right here. Marketing materials, real estate flyers, posters, food and drink menus. So brick and mortar people, come on over. Business cards, you can design a beautiful business card for yourself. You know how you can get those deals, but it's always the graphics that get you kind of stuck with, what's that, Vistaprint? If you're still doing business cards, you can make your own beautiful one. More flyers, gift certificates. Now here's the gold. Tumblr banner. YouTube channel art banner, which is one of the most difficult arts to make for any of your social media. Your Twitter header, your Google Plus photo, your Facebook cover, email headers, and ST banners. You're never going to go wrong with those templates. So when you decide that, I just actually rebranded everything. My Facebook business page, my YouTube, my G Plus, and my Twitter. And all I had to do was come over here and just kind of go back and forth. This one's still a little bit of trouble because you have to be right in the middle. You have to be right in the middle. But if you've got this open, it's really easy to go back and edit things here. You wouldn't believe it. So that you've got events also in Facebook ad, wide side scraper for your blogs, medium rectangles for your blogs, 300 by 250. It's a beautiful size banner for blogs. Long rectangle. So as you can see, Canva is kind of a one-stop shop. Now we are going to be doing a basic training here. I'm going to do an Instagram size post because that seems to be, I'm really focusing on Instagram. I just started learning about it and just started using it. Like I said, I just got a phone, so I'm excited about Instagram. So that's the size I'm going to use, because if you use this size, you'll be able to take the screenshots right off your Facebook on your phone and put it on Instagram, and so your images look really super crisp over there. So there's, let's just keep going. I'm going to come back and see if there's any questions so far. Hey, Mario, what's up? We got a house full of sexy people. I love it. Is there anything, any questions that you have before I go ahead? Maybe you have an idea you want me to make an image for something, or I'm just going to go ahead and start. I'm drinking coffee and drinking, it's a cleanse day, so I'm hungry. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead back and get going. Excuse me. So I'm going to select the Instagram size. Now, the first thing that they do, make sure you can see me. Nope, I lost you. Look at that. Good thing I came back to check. Good thing I came back. I'm going too fast. Yep. All right. Woo woo. So here, this is what you got with Instagram. You probably already know this, but they've got some stuff already made for you that you can use. However, I think everybody's probably used it at least once. So don't use any of that stuff. If you wanted to, I'm going to show you two different ways to add images. First way is the way that I usually go ahead and do it. I'm going to go to, I don't want to go to my uploads because I have my before pictures in there and I don't want you to see them. But I'm going to grab a picture like that. And so I just popped it over here and that's what it is, right? If I wanted to focus in on a particular area on it, what I would do is I would just go ahead and make it as big as I could and get right to that particular area and maybe make the focus this little ball, right? I can still edit this picture. See if I can hide that. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. There's a bunch of different filters like you have on Instagram over here. They're not called the same, so I'm not sure. But like this is my go-to filter, the Cali filter. However, there's the retro filter, selfie, rosy, black and white, grayscale, Nordic. Nordic is really neat. The blues, that's a new one, I think. Summer. So as you can see, there's several different filters that you can use. You can also open the advanced options up and you can saturate a certain way. If you wanted it to be really blue and you didn't want the saturation to be so bright and you wanted the contrast to be more, which would be like HDR, you could blur it out. If you're doing like a background for a landing page and you just want to blur that picture out really hard or really soft or just kind of, you can all by yourself and you don't need to have Photoshop for it. You can increase the brightness. So there's a couple of different, you can also put a vignette on it, which is this. See how it's all dark around the side? That's kind of like the Mayfair that you see on Instagram. People like vignette. I'm not a big fan, so I'm just going to take it away. I'll make it very minimal. So halfway through is just the slightest amount. And because I have stretched this picture out so large, the rest of it is all the way over here in no man's land. So you can do that. You can also do this. And I love, you can flip it around. I do this a lot so that my pictures don't look the same every time. And you can also play with the transparency. Let's see if I can get this without, yep, and fade it out. Okay. Now the other, I'm going to get rid of it because I'm going to show you the other way. So the other way would be to go up here to the search images. You just tap on it. Oh, sometimes not. Sometimes you got to hit the X. And you go to grids. And no matter what size you choose, you could put this big one in there, which is what I'm going to do. And what that's going to do is whatever picture I put inside of that, it's going to fit in there just right. And I'm going to pick something prettier. That wasn't the prettiest one. Try and pick something with regular colors so that when I play with it, I like this. Now, when you do this, you want to drag the picture. You don't want to just drop the picture. Because if you just click it, it's not going to do it. So here we have this gorgeous image that you can totally play with. So what I'll do is I'll put Cali on it. I might even go epic. Not a fan of epic. I think I'm a Cali girl. I just really think that's my thing. That's pretty cool. That almost looks retro. I'm going to tone the brightness down because I want to accentuate that shadow so the brightness will come down a little bit. I might throw some contrast up and even go further with it. Now you can see more of the spray of the sand. So you just kind of play with things until you feel like you're at the spot you want it. Now, another thing I might do here is sometimes it doesn't give you that right off the bat. I might go ahead. All right, when you do it this way, you have to do your transparency over here. I can make it transparent, or I can leave it alone. For the purpose of this, I'm going to leave it alone. Now, the next thing you want to do, if you wanted to add, say, a picture of yourself, because you're going to want to brand yourself, right? You're going to go back to grids when you use, I'm sorry, you're going to use a frame when you do that. If you were using just a regular picture, you probably just plop the picture right on there yourself, which I've done. But if you want to add a picture to something that's got a grid behind it, you want to be real careful, and I'll show you why. I'm going to add a grid. I'll just pick a plain circle, right? And I'll show you what happens when, see? You want to make sure it gets all the way in. If you don't use the big, and you can shrink it, if you don't use the frame for a picture on top of an image that you've used a grid, you're going to have a big problem. It's just going to be impossible. Sometimes you have to start over, but it's not that big of a problem. A lot of this is going to be figuring it out as you go kind of thing. So there's my little image, and I can also filter me. See that? Because it's dark over there, maybe I'll add myself as an epic, or do some balancing in the picture and use selfie. You play with them and see which one you like. Maybe summer makes my hair look older. And I can play with how bright and everything. And I can also fade myself out a bit. Kind of like that YouTube thing, the YouTube picture that you can see. So there I am. I can do that. I can do that. So that's how you'd want to add an image of yourself. And if certain filters will change what this background is if you have clear. I'm going to take this out because I want to show you something else. Text. Now this is one way you'll see it happen a lot on my art. This is up to you. If you like to do this like this, I do. So I'll use something like that. I'm just going to change this stuff up so you can see it. I'll put the image down here. And I'll go ahead and grab that picture again. I'll put my little yoga lady in there. I'm having so much fun with her. And one thing that you want to be careful of, if you want to fade this out, these words here will fade out as well. So if you want those words to stay not faded, you're going to want to keep that like that and go back and use the frames, fade out the picture, and then come back with text. But since we are here right now and I don't want to fade her out, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to choose a different color because that obviously is not going to work out for that red. And you can select whatever font. You can get so fun. They have really great fonts on here. And that's important to me because if there was nothing else in the world with graphic art, fonts are everything. You can keep the colors, you can keep the shapes, you can keep everything. If everything had to be black and white, as long as I had all the fonts I could desire, I'd be very happy. So you can pick your font. Lately, I've been really into things like this, Aileron Thin. However, I'm going to want to pick something that you can see better. So I'm going to pick Anton, which is a big, bold. A big, bold font. I can play with the size to a point here. You'll see something else that I'm going to demonstrate a problem that I've had. See, I put that on 64. That's not 64. It went right back to 15. Then I'm going to put Bold Yogi. And I got to change Josephine Sands. That's another beautiful font. and you barely will even see it. So let me see if I can put something bolder. There you go. You can also, with these, you can put them in the middle. So don't forget that you can do that. You can even make them uppercase. So I made Yogi uppercase because bold is already uppercase. Another problem that you will have with this that I want you to kind of see and work it out as we go. There's one particular one I love. It's this. I love this. I love it a lot. However, most of the time you see it on my artwork, it's not this I've used. I will show you right now why. And I'll put my little silly face there. And I'll move this out. And what I'll do here, because I don't want to see how it squishes back. See what's happening to my picture? And even when I go to crop it and get it straight, sometimes it don't want to play. And see how everything fades out again too. So what I do often to do that is I'll do the circle frame, and then I do this. This is probably the biggest secret I've got with this. And when people ask me, oh my gosh, I use Canva too, I don't get those results. Shapes. Shapes are a big deal. Shapes are great. Shapes, most of them, this is my favorite shape because you see how it has this little tab on the top, the bottom, and the sides, not just the corners. That means it can change all sorts of ways. It can change every way instead of just being a straight square like this one. Oh, no, that one actually can change. A lot of them don't do it. Let me get rid of that. But I love this because then I can create these awesome banners. And say I wanted to use this one here. Say I want to go behind her. And say more and get it centered. I can make this a orange. I can also make it kind of transparent, and I can send it behind her. And I can move her up and do that again. So you can really play with where you want to put stuff. And you see how I'm kind of replicating the one that was giving me a hard time with keeping the image center? I'm replicating it using a shape. One of the best ways to do it is to use a white or a black and fade it out. Remember where you fade things because you might have several different layers. I'll fade this one out to 50%. I'll put her back over here. Maybe I'll go here. Then I'll come back to these. Oh, let me show you something else you can do. Oh, this is a nice one. You probably noticed this week is one of my favorite shapes is this circle with the dots around it. I think that's gorgeous. Got me. Don't know why. It's just my thing right now. And you can squeeze it right onto your round picture. Send it back so it goes behind the lettering. You could change this is where you want to get a little creative. You probably noticed that my color themes tend to be orange, green, blue, and purple. That's just where I'm levitating at this moment. That doesn't mean those are your colors. Maybe you like black and red. Maybe you like pink and black. Maybe you like you know, like Facebook blue, which would be right in here, you know. You have your own style, and that's probably the most important reason why I decided to hold this, is so that you can kind of play with your style in here, because everyone's got their colors the way they want their colors. So I'm gonna make this better. It's almost perfect. It doesn't have to be, but it's almost perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and make her, I'm gonna get a custom color in here. Just like that. Bam. I can change this one to white so that that purple really, and I can always make sure, see, she's right in the middle, so everything's just right there. Another thing that PicMonkey will not give you is it will not give you that little grid that you need to know if you're centered correctly. And it'll get you centered up in the right way for other things as well. That's a beautiful, I'm going to start using that one this week. You see that one? It's got the little ripped sides. All right. So let's go back to fonts, or to text. And I'm going to go big because I'm going to go to the top. And I'm going to invent something. You see how that grid is happening? It's right in the middle of the shape I made with the square. It's right, the letters are going to be right centered. So I'm going to say bold Yogi event. I'm going to select a font that I like. So you can come in here and really experiment. That's a really nice cursive. As you do these, you're not going to see this as clearly as you will see it once it's published. So don't let that get you too, I think that was a big thing that was making me crazy long ago, and maybe it's gotten better. I'm not sure, but I know I love it now. But a bold yogi wouldn't use that kind of cursive now, would it? Would use something maybe like that. Maybe. So as you can see, there's an awful lot to choose from. Oswald's an awesome font, pretty basic. But I'm going to go back and keep it synchronized. I'll give you a really big hint. This is going to help you aesthetically come off really well in your graphic art, is never use more than 2 fonts. So if you change one font because you like it better, make sure it's not the 3rd font. If it is the 3rd font, go change something else to match it. You want no more than 2 fonts. That's the rule for graphic art. 2 fonts. I don't know where I learned it, but I know it's the truth. Could have learned it in school for all I know. But this one, now see, I can actually, if I wanted to play with the fact that I have lowercase here and uppercase there, that's okay. But when it comes down to having another font, it's got to be either this one or that one. So we're going to go back to Anton. I like it big and chunky, so I'm going to uppercase it. Now I can also make it much larger. And I think a 72 should fit. Yep. So all I got to do is hold it until I know it's right there. I can go ahead now, as you build colors, this is another beautiful thing about it. As you build colors inside of your image, it's going to start showing you what you have. So you can match your colors the way you want to match your colors. But because our little yogi has an orange on, I'm going to click orange. And because our sand looks orange, I might bring it in just a little bit. Make it a little bit more yellow, because I think her outfit's a little bit more yellow. So there we go. The bold yogi. I think that is awesome. You can also start doing some, let me make sure that you're taking advantage of lines. Lines are very good. Some of them are a little tricky to get your hands on. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like that one. And you know, that's never happened to me. I've never selected that line and got it the first time. See, look, when you do that, it's no big deal. You just wait until the grid tells you it's back in spot. And boom. So that just made a liar out of me, but that's a line that I like a lot. You can also fade this out the same as you can with every other color. And I'll put it on, I'll keep it on a 75. I think any lighter would be no good. This bold yogi needs to be better. You just have a little bit of patience. You can play with this. It will take you much less time to build your art than I am showing you right now. I'll tell you that right now. You'll have a guideline. You'll already see somebody else's art or somebody else's copy, and you'll be able to figure that out a little faster. You've probably noticed I love this arrow. It's impossible to edit inside of it, so make it your last thing. I also love this arrow. That don't mean you do, but all this stuff can be moved around like this. I usually take that back tail and take it off the image. I don't like it in the image. I love chevrons, but I didn't want it in the back. And I can change this any color I want. I can fade it out. See, that's kind of cool. I can put it behind everything. Oh, I put it too forward. I put it behind the picture. There we go. So you could get really creative with this stuff. Another thing I do, like when I use the chevron guy, I'll use another one just like it, and it'll show me that I'm right with it. Sometimes it'll even show you right in the middle if you're right with it. But I can stretch this back. I can also make this way skinnier. What you do is you wait till you get to your desired skinniness, and you take that middle one and you pull it out. And then you could go ahead and center it over the one you just did, the bigger one, and you can give yourself some depth. And what I can do here is just hit the purple, and it might even, see? Or I could go ahead and use a yellow, maybe fade it out a little tiny bit. And start really getting creative. So basically, this Canva stuff is all about playing around. Once you've decided what you're looking for, especially if you're going to be doing any like social media branding, you just keep the same kind of idea going. I'll show you what I did on my YouTube and see if I can grab you G+. G+ isn't as easy to get to as it used to be. It used to be so much easier. Now I got to click on notifications and go over here and over there. Wait for it to load. But YouTube, what I wanted was to continue on the same thing. So what I did was I went to each one and I copied everything, every idea I had for all of the fonts or all the images. From here. Hopefully I don't crash my computer, guys. You hear that? I'm hoping you see me. Yeah. Okay, so my business page on G+ is branded. My YouTube channel, it's all very similar, the same kind of things happening. I got the blues over here. This is the one I copied it from. This is what started it all. And actually, I saw somebody else had done something that just popped out at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just love that. And so now everything is looking like that, even Twitter. So wherever you go now, if you're hanging out with me on any of those sites, you are going to be seeing this. You're going to know it's me. And if you don't see that, then you might say, maybe that's her personal profile. Let me find out what's going on. But all of that was created with Canva. All of it was created with Canva using the basic colors that I like all the time. trying to figure out where this arrow is going to be pointing down here. Start here. On Facebook, you want to start pointing to your call to action. On YouTube, you want it to be pointing towards your websites on the right-hand side. You know, and you kind of figure out what it is that you want, what it is that you want to say. This part might be the hardest thing. I mean, these things might change all the time. I used to be the helpful entrepreneur. Now I'm the mind reset coach. Because I found that when I was the helpful entrepreneur, all I was doing is helping other people make money instead of myself. It just was some sort of psychological shift that was happening to people. And I'm just as helpful as I ever was. However, now I get to do it and not feel like I'm being drained of all my life force. With Canva too, you can make the like that image. You notice how my business profile all has the Periscope background color. How simple is that? So on my business page on G+, my YouTube channel, and my Facebook business page, all of it has Periscope background color. So it is different than this, and kind of shows that I'm trending with the Periscope, that I like the Periscope thing. So that's pretty cool. Let me see what else I can. I'm going to come back to you guys so I can see if there's any questions. I want to make sure. I'm going to stop sharing the screen so you can see my face. How I shape my picture in the circle? Absolutely, I'll do that. And what's my favorite setting? Does it depend on the social media platform? Maybe, Mario, repeat that question. Maybe I'm not getting it right. Or are you thinking maybe like my filter that I'm using on my pictures? Whoa, that was loud. And Jovita, I will definitely show you how to resize those, fix the pictures inside of the frames. Absolutely. Yeah, I just want to be sure on that. You're welcome, Jovita. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Mario, you still there? Let me check my attendees. Yep, Mario's still here. I'm not sure if what you mean, Mario, is like the filter I'm using on the pictures or the size I'm using. I'm not sure what setting you're thinking of. Or it could be the size. I'm thinking it might be the size. Yes, I'll show that. Absolutely. Absolutely, because you can make PDFs in here. And those PDFs can have links going to your affiliate products. Or however you want to do it. Going to back to your blog, back to your social media, whatever it is. Absolutely. I love to show that. Okay, I'm gonna show Javita how to resize the image inside of the thing. And Mario, I'll be back to find out what you mean by favorite setting. I'm sharing screen again. Okay, good. So here we're back to our bold yogi. I'm gonna get rid of. I'm gonna make this bigger just for the sake of, because I want to make the bold yogi bigger as well. Now, I totally get that I'm not doing it what you're asking. I'm going to show you in a second. I just want to have it in place because I want to show you that you can do it in place as well. I'm going to send her back as well. Bold yogi. That's like yogi. See, when you get too big, sometimes you do. Okay, you go away. What you do is you go to crop when you want to change what she looks like inside there. And you should be able to move her around. What I'll do is I will put another image in there so you can see. Let's go back to their images because I don't want you to see my fat lady pictures. No, Tara, no. Okay. So you would hit crop and say I wanted to be more focused down on that end of the picture. Or say I didn't like that and I wanted to be over here towards the shadows more. Or say I just wanted to be perfectly centered. That's how you would change the image inside of your frames or inside of the text things that give you a frame. But this is for frames. So pretty cool, huh? Let me grab my bold yogi back and see if Mario see that is I hope you can see that line that comes right down the middle that shows you that I'm centered. I'm going to add some text over here too while before I come back. Say whoa. Whatever that is, don't do that. Say I wanted to be sure that my text was kind of lined up with where the beginning of bold is. You see that? This is lined up now with the B. So I could say bold. I can set it to the left. And to be absolutely positively sure, I can see how I went there. And you see that blue line? It's leading up to this. So I can move that in and make that hit the spot. And I can move that in a little bit more and have this line for the B lined up with that line for the B and lined up with that dot to give a lot of symmetry. That's really the biggest deal on this. And see, as I was moving that, it gave me the centered, showed me I'm perfect on there. Symmetry, and it's everything with this stuff. Everything. So I'm going to find the other font, and then I'm going to come back and see. I'm going to change that color. I'm going to fade it. I can also change this text spacing. This is a really fun thing. So look at that. Wow. It's not what I want though, but you can do it. I think that's cool. So bring the text spacing back to where I want it. We'll change the transparency. Now I'm going to talk about what you were asking about with the adding the link. It's right here. And it can be http link.com. And now when that's saved, it's saved. If this picture is in some sort of clickable area where they can click on it, like a PDF, not necessarily a blog post, but a PDF, they'd be able to click Be Bold and go to link.com. And you could just take it away like that. So that's how the links work. I'm going to come back and see what Mario's got to say, and then I'm going to, I like using shadows. I can't find shadows on Canva either. However, we just had that awesome hangout that they were doing it on Windows PowerPoint. You can use, this is why I say don't get rid of your PicMonkey. because I'll show you something really crazy. Yeah, use frames. Oh, for branding purposes. I always use the Instagram size for anything that I'm advertising on Facebook, so I can screenshot it and put it on Instagram and it comes out looking great. As far as anything outside of that, I always, like on my blog posts, I would always do 900 by 900 or 1050 by 900 to make them really giant images. But otherwise, for social media, the Instagram size seems to work pretty snazzy. Shadows. Okay. Do you guys want me to show you how to make shadows on PicMonkey and bring them over to Canva and use them? Because that'd be kind of cool. I do that once in a while. Yeah, I think that's, since I got the phone, I was like, how am I supposed to get all these beautiful pictures on Instagram? I was literally doing this and taking pictures of the, it's so cute though. That's what they said, yeah. What do you think, Kamika? No, you're okay? Well, I'll tell you, I'll give you the quick rundown and write this down. When you go to PicMonkey and you create text, make sure you have a translucent background. Go over to the, I believe it's frames, and do the drop shadows. Adjust the drop shadow where you want it, and then make it translucent again. And save that image as a PNG. And then just upload it to Canva and put it wherever you want on your pictures. It works the same. When you link it, it works if it's in a PDF. Like if you put that picture on a blog post and had the link in there, I don't think it works that way. I think it has to be saved as a PDF. So what would happen is if you made a PDF and put one of your images in there, and somebody was reading your free giveaway, your great giveaway, whatever it is, I don't know, whatever you have that people are getting, the ebook. I mean, I think they only have 46 pages. It's crazy. That image, if they decide they really want to investigate it more, we're in this time where we are just clicking everything we want to check out. If they click on it, it'll bring them to a link that you put in there. So that's how that works. It's pretty cool. Yeah, translucent. And then you write the words out. You go to the text and pick the words that you want on PicMonkey. Go to drop shadow and your frames on PicMonkey. And then make sure that background's translucent again. And then you can upload it right to Canva, and you'll have like a set of the words in a PNG, always PNG, no matter what PNG. The reason why there's a certain amount of clarity loss that happens when it's a JPG. Every time somebody downloads a JPG and uploads a JPG, it changes the quality of the picture. PNGs never change. They're always the same quality every time. So you always want to have PNG. And the PNG, you can stretch it out on that Canva, on a Canva image really big, and it won't get blurry. You know what I mean? It'll stay crispy and clear, and you'll be able to put it anywhere and have that shadow that Kamika's talking about. Because I love that. I love the shadows very much. That's why I haven't canceled my Pro PicMonkey, because Canva isn't doing that as far as I know. Now, I haven't done Canva for Work yet or DesignSchool. They do have an entire section called DesignSchool, and I'm not sure even anything about it. But it teaches you how to do all sorts of different things. I will make sure everyone has that, so that when you're playing with it, this is DesignSchool. Grab that link for sure. Excuse me. Maybe there is a way to do it, and we just don't know yet. Maybe I just don't, maybe I'm just not. Let me see if I can play with it a little. Move forward, move to back, copy link, text spacing. I'm not seeing any advanced stuff on the letters. Outside of bold, uppercase, italic. So that's Design School for Canva. That link also, I want to show you the other things that this is probably my favorite spot. It's a lot of people's favorite spot. However, these images are completely 100%. Unsplash is my favorite, and you can play with that any way you want to play with it. There's another one, MorgueFile. These are not necessarily the best images all the time, but you can find really good images in here. MorgueFile, they're free. You can do whatever you want to them. No one's going to sue you. And let me see. I like PicJumbo too, but it seems to be very, death to stock. Death to stock is awesome. What you do is you sign up for their email, and they send you a little zip file once a month, which no one else is using. Very rarely do you see them. And you download them as a zip file. The only thing is you're going to want to go through the zip file and find the image that you want. You upload it. They're pretty big, so some things won't take all the bigness. You can resize, and resizing the size of an image is really, I'm not sure if you can do that on Canva or PicMonkey. I do it inside of, what is it called? GIMP. I use GIMP for translucency and stuff like that. And I want to make sure you have one more because I know there's more. PicJumbo. Now, PicJumbo is free. The first time I went on there, I didn't believe them because I was using the search bar that you're going to see at the top of the page for images. Guess what? That's an advertisement. So I'm not a fan that way, but those images you can download for free. And I'm going to give you one more. This one is a hit or miss as well. And you'll start seeing on like some of these, like the Pixabay, you'll start like, look at that. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. That's the most beautiful lemon water I've ever seen. This particular one is a hit or miss. But if you can't find it in one spot, you'll be able to find it in another. And those websites you definitely want to bookmark, either right now, click on them and bookmark them, or copy and paste them into a note to yourself on Facebook, however you want to do it. I will send those out as well with the replay, so you guys will have it. This way you won't have to worry about it, right? What else I want to tell you? Is there any other questions? I don't know. I could be frozen. I could be. Let me get rid of all these tabs. Maybe that's why. Is it okay now, Kamika? Excuse me. Hi, Terry. Okay, so what else is next? I think that's pretty much close to the end of it. Does everyone feel like they could go into a Canva and play around and kind of get your own style and get your own feel for it so you can start creating your own images? It's froze for you too? Oh no! Oh no! Might lose it. Can you hear me? Are we still froze? Yes?